Hey there everybody, my name is Jace Adams and welcome to the channel. This is another exciting episode of Ye Old Indie Dude. This would be episode 14. We do a little bit more of a past, present, and future episode today in regards to, well, I'm going to be doing an interview with my oldest son, Jace. It's going to be contrasting drums, which is particularly interesting. So we'll just get into that. I hope you enjoy. If you do, then please push the like button. Please be sure to subscribe and push the bell icon to be notified of any future videos that are coming up. We are on. So we are plugging in. Tell me what you're setting up there, bud.
This is the PA head, and what it's doing is taking the data from all of those microphones on the drum set.
Whoa, now, he's got microphones on all the drums. Okay.
All the toms, not all the cymbals, but the cymbals get picked up by those microphones.
Of course.
So what it's taking is that drum data in these microphone inputs and outputting them into a digital converter right here, which is an audio interface. So this interfaces directly into my MacBook, which is, as you can see, a little dinged up, but still works pretty nicely. And right now, if you look at this little level indicator right here, right on the screen, if I play a drum, the level indicator moves, showing that it's working. You know. And so this is the struggle that all drum technicians or sound technicians go through, is to make sure all the drum levels are level. So to make sure.
Now, not all drum technicians have to go through this. Now, there's certain people that go out and they make beats and they get them from a can. I mean, from an app. You know what I'm saying? They're pre-packaged beats. Right. Then there's also people that would say, in this modern day and age, they prefer to do an electronic drum. Now, personally, I've always said that there is a difference between analog and digital, and you lose something in the transfer of analog to digital. This is the way those same drums would sound put through the system, and then, well, you can see the difference, obviously. Played live and then plugged in directly through the mics into the digital audio workstation. this Snyder. Just kidding. I think I'm hilarious. My name is Jace Adams, and this is another edition of Ye Olde Indie Dude. And another a special edition of Past, Present, and Future with Ye Olde Indie Dude.
This is past. I'm present. Future's in the other room.
I think we're both in the present. And also the future. So, and this is my son, Jace Adams.
Hello. Also known as Sylvester Baker of the Bakers.
Oh, yes. He's in a band called the Bakers.
I am the band.
I'm just I am the band. Yeah.
Can you imagine? That's probably how, like, at least half of the 80s guitar scene saw themselves. They're just like, I am the band, bro. Eddie Van Halen.
He just passed away recently.
Rip in peace, Eddie Van Halen.
Rest in peace. Absolutely. He was a phenomenal guitar player, legendary.
I didn't know too much of him, like, ironically, before he died, and now I'm being introduced to new things. So, it's not all bad, as long as we can use his memory to forge new paths. You know, that's what's important.
I'd say, too, like, maintaining the art of being able to do that kind of electric guitar, or those kind of stylings. Of course, his was unique to him, and as a lot of iconic guitarists have their own styles attributed to them, their own sounds.
But he was inspiring.
Absolutely. The album 1984 that he did with Van Halen, it was very famous, and I think that's what really put them over the top, although they were very famous beforehand and after, in varying degrees.
So, do you want to segue this into the discussion about how guitar is becoming more popular in the culture?
Yeah, I mean, you were just saying how music is going in a direction that's sort of like, maybe, would you say it's devolving?
I would say that music is splitting off into, let's say, people who like the way it used to be, continue to be that way, or people who think that music, the pop music of today, is generating a specific style. You really got it devolving and evolving in all sorts of different directions, but music, popular music in specific,
right?
The music that is popular is becoming more and more, I'd say, primed for mass appeal. And I only say that because the reason that the music that is popular today is popular is not because it's good, but because of algorithms.
Wait a minute, though. How about this, though? I mean, it's always based on algorithms, and it's just math, right? So you're talking, like, essentially, it comes down to sales data.
Yeah, and like, who will appreciate this music? What can we do to this music to make it the most accepted by the most people?
I think that this has been happening as far as like the marketing of music in the industry has been happening since before I was born.
Of course.
So, I mean, long time. I mean,
but listen, that's not what makes good music.
Agreed.
The Beatles were starting out in their music career doing that sort of thing where they're like, let me make what's popular. And then after they got that the popularity, then they went on to things that they didn't necessarily care whether people liked or not. And that's the music that was really changing and really like groundbreaking.
Sure.
And the same thing with other music movements in the past. The stuff that was controversial is the stuff that stuck the most because it changed. It caused people to look at who they were and look at society around them and think that maybe there's something wrong. Instead of the music today.
I like that idea, but I mean, to me...
To challenge the world around them.
To me, yes, but there's also something to be said about mixing in a message with something that's catchy.
Yeah.
That, to me, is the combination of the art form appealing to the universal in that respect. It goes towards multiple levels, so it grabs you musically, so you're like grabbed by the hook, maybe by just the simplicity of the rhythm or something like that. And then the words are just incredible, and you're like, oh my goodness, you know.
Yeah, and this is like not necessarily a horrible thing, because this means that music is becoming more accessible to people, and like it just means that it's more homogenous, like more people are gonna like the same stuff. But it also, for like people who really like talent, and musicians who are talented is a bad thing, because talent is becoming like a sort of a secondary thing nowadays, whereas what's important is image, and that's all that people care about. Yeah. And that's like the music that they make is part of that image, and it's not even about talent anymore. Not in popular music. I mean, while a lot of popular artists are talented, there are a lot of popular artists who have none of the talent. None of it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And so I guess the reason that guitar is becoming more popular to a certain amount of people is because talent is something that is a rare commodity nowadays. Back in like the 80s, everyone was a guitar hero, everyone could play, but now people just make beats on their computers. Now a guitarist is rare. Anybody who's good at instruments.
Grab guitar solos off the computer too, huh?
Exactly. And that's why nobody has to have talent, is because music is already pre-made for us. You got things out there, things like lyric generators. Things like chord progression generators.
Exactly. And randomized chord progression.
Soon enough, AI is going to be writing all the music.
Well, they already had. There's AI generated music. It's quite wonderful. However,
it's never going to measure up.
It's not about measuring up. It's not about comparing machine to human, or however you want to put it.
I guess it's just new versus old.
Because what's going to happen in the future? What if computers gain sentience, and then there's going to be like they're going to fight for rights and stuff like that.
Well, I guess it depends on what you define as sentience.
What I'm thinking is, sure, I'm saying human experience. Okay, for the purposes of inspiration and songwriting, I think that it makes a difference. It affects you can feel the soul coming through the music. That's the
There's a lot of things that AI could not do to music that humans can, and that's what makes it human. And that's the reason, segue this into drumming, why real drums, in a lot of ways, are better than fake drums.
Well, okay, here's a distinction here, because you're saying real drums as opposed to fake drums. You've got the real drum set up as we were checking out.
But is that real drums?
Well, yeah, it is in comparison to the other two that I'm thinking of. One, on the opposite extreme would be the app.
Or the sample.
The sample, exactly.
The drum pad.
Right.
The one where you input and have like select slots for each beat.
Right.
That one can be really fun to use.
Or the synthesizer drum too. Similar concept.
If you got like a drum pad on your keyboard that you can cue up, some people just play the drums in through that way, and that can generate really good results.
It can, don't get me wrong. And they don't sound real. They don't sound real necessarily.
But sometimes that's not the style you're going for, and that's exactly the thing.
The other side of the coin from the real drums, as opposed to just the canned drums or the drum machine, would be the electronic drums, which is a sort of a hybridization, so you can still come up with your own distinct beats.
It allows the drums to sound just as canned while implementing the human error. Exactly. The worst of both worlds.
The worst of both.
No, but they're easier to not wake your neighbors up with. But what you can't do with those electronic drums is I can't get a very accurate snare sound with most of them. I find that the snare doesn't give quite as realistically as the real deal. I also find that, while you can change the different drum controls and make them sound louder or quieter based upon the sound you want, you can do that with real drums. And with the fake drums, you can't tune. You can't get that real tactility of stretching that head and making it sound tighter or,
tactility.
Looser. Yeah, tactility. You don't get the tactile response. You don't get some electronic kits are bouncier than the real deal, and the real deal it can sound. It doesn't always sound. It depends on how you record it, but it can sound more alive. It can make the music sound more alive. And
going right from an analog source to digital, and therefore there's less of a loss.
Yeah.
The analog translates better. if it's from the raw source. I think it sounds, you can capture more of that warmth.
If you don't have to get the you know, people making the electronic drum sets, they go to a real drum set and they record different hits. I want a hard hit, a soft hit, a medium hit.
Sure.
But
the keyboard is
you can get an infinite amount of in-betweens on a real drum set. With a fake drum set, like an electronic one, you either get that hard, medium, or soft. And maybe they vary it so that depending on how hard you hit it, that's the volume that it plays it. But you're never going to get that real feel. You're never going to get that real crunch, that real boom, that feeling that you get inside your body, unless you have it hooked up to a giant speaker. But then again, it's still not as good. Still not as good, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. And that's the thing. There's so many people who are trying to produce different types of music nowadays. Like hip-hop, that's a scene that's revolving around like
electronic.
Yeah, and like different types of.
There's a music that's just referred to as electronic or electronica or whatever it's
electro,
called.
Techno.
What's EDM mean?
Electronic dance music.
See, that's what I mean.
The specific dance quality. You can have techno that's not meant to be danced to, and you can have dance music that's not techno. I guess. Yeah, because you got funk. Funk is kind of dance music, but that's known for its more acoustic instruments. Not really acoustic, but more like real drums, you know? You always see like a guy at a real drum set in a funk video, you know?
Funk
you always see them, guys...
Some awesome bass and some alternate percussion ideas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like you got the guy at like the xylophone or like the...
Or a kettle drum
like the bongos,
right.
You know, I've seen that. I just watched a Snarky Puppy video today. Snarky Puppy is this amazing funk jazz band with like, you know, it's got horns, it's got bass, it's got a drummer and a rhythm. You can cut that out. It's got a drummer and a rhythm, but they're seamless. Like you can't even tell the difference. Like it's almost like there's one gigantic drum unit playing all the percussion, but they're not. They're just so synced up. And that's the great thing about...
Well, I love that too, where different aspects of the band can make one part shine. It's actually not the part that's shining.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Like that Polyphia goat tune. You have that awesome guitar doing the harmonics, which is brilliant. But the real awesome part about it is the real tightness between the drum and the bass.
Yeah.
That's really what's pulling that together.
Really, if you get a separation between the drum and the bass in general, it screws up the whole song.
Yes, I agree.
You gotta get
remember I told you that once.
Yeah, but I also learned that in jazz band firsthand because our drummer was so bad, and the drum and the bass would always go out of sync, and it would be like,
video.
Yeah. Let me tell you this exact guy's exact name. No, I'm not talking about
this guy I went to school with down the road.
You know who you are. I'm talking about that drummer. There were two drummers, so it could be either one.
So anyway, hey, what I forgot to say is, Jace, thanks for being on the
anytime.
indie dude today. I really enjoyed.
Are there any more topics you'd like to discuss real quick before? Well, we were talking about analog versus digital. I guess we got to that.
I think we can continue on some more with like doing some more. We can ask if you'd like our discussion or this format. We did one of these kind of episodes before where it's like past, present, and future. Let us know in the comments below, and we'll just do something else along those lines. If you have any questions. Jace, do you have any links that you would like to give out for your band, the Bakers?
It's on my social media. If you go on Instagram, it's bakers.theofficial. If you go on Twitter, it's thebakers20. And Facebook is Sylvester Baker, because that's the only thing they would let me do. I had to make a name.
I see.
You know, it's like an actual name on Facebook.
Understood.
And I didn't want to make Jace Adams because I'm a Jace Adams and I already have a Facebook account, so that'd be confusing to people. So now my stage name is Sylvester Baker, because I don't know if everyone knew, but we have a song called Sylvester the Sloth, which is not about me, but it could be.
It is now.
Yeah, it is now. But it's kind of like
that's an awesome song. I get that song caught in my head all the time. So please check out the Bakers music
Yes.
on all of the.
And the links to any of the distributors should be on the social media. You can just look up the bakers on the distributors as well: Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, Amazon,
YouTube.
YouTube.
I was just gonna say that. And for further information, I'll leave some links down below. Please check out my further material on this channel as well. There's all sorts of cool music, and please subscribe if you'd be so kind. Just push the button. I got a minute. It's okay. We can wait. I don't want to wait too long. Okay, you got it. Okay. I appreciate it. If you like the video, if you've gotten anything out of what we're saying, what we're trying to do, along the lines of creative inspiration and motivation, as well as just discussing different changes along the span of time in this particular episode.
We got anything wrong in our discussion, like about any of the analog versus digital, real drum versus fake drum, please feel free to shut up and not correct us, because
actually,
I don't got time for that.
I don't think it's a matter of right or wrong. It's a discussion, and I think it's a matter of philosophy and opinion. So, if you would like to share, please feel free. Be kind.
So if your opinion,
if you would be so kind.
So if your opinion is different than ours, then it's wrong. Basically, is what we're trying to say.
Okay, on that.
Listen to my opinion in the form of music, anywhere, and his too, because ours is the reliable one.
All right.
Yes.
And I'll talk to you next time. Thank you.